Am I the only one that didn't know how resilient we could be in the face of total chaos? When the world as we knew it fell apart, it was as if the very fabric of our existence was torn to shreds. The cities we once called home became unrecognizable landscapes of debris and desolation. Yet amidst the chaos, something remarkable began to unfold. When the world as we knew it fell apart, it was not just the physical structures that crumbled, but also the societal norms and conveniences we had taken for granted. The bustling streets, once filled with life and energy, were now eerily silent, save for the occasional sound of crumbling buildings and distant cries for help. It was a scene straight out of a nightmare, but it was our new reality. Chaos reigned supreme, but not for long. In the initial days, it was every person for themselves. Panic and fear drove people to desperate measures, and the thin veneer of civilization seemed to vanish overnight. But as the dust began to settle, a different kind of order started to emerge. People began to realize that survival was not just about individual strength, but about coming together and supporting one another. Out of the ruins, humanity's indomitable spirit began to shine through. Acts of kindness and solidarity became the new currency. Strangers became allies, and communities began to form in the most unexpected places. It was as if the destruction had stripped away the superficial layers of our society, revealing the core of what it means to be human. In the heart of the desolation, new communities rose, fueled by the will to survive and thrive. These makeshift communities were built on the principles of cooperation and mutual aid. People pooled their resources, shared their skills, and worked together to create a semblance of normalcy in a world that had been turned upside down. Gone were the days of modern conveniences. The grocery stores we once relied on were empty, their shelves stripped bare. The electronic devices that had once connected us to the world were now useless relics of a bygone era. We had to learn to live without the comforts and luxuries we had once taken for granted. We turned back to ancestral skills that had been long forgotten. The knowledge of our ancestors, which had been relegated to the pages of history books, became our lifeline. We relearned the art of making fire, the techniques of hunting and gathering, and the skills of crafting tools and shelter from the materials at hand. Hunting, gathering, and crafting became our lifelines. The forests and fields that had once been mere backdrops to our lives now became our sources of sustenance. We learned to track and hunt game, to identify edible plants, and to use every part of the animals and plants we harvested. It was a return to a simpler, more primal way of life. People reconnected with the land, rediscovering the secrets of nature to sustain us. Farming and foraging became essential skills, and we learned to work with the land rather than against it. We discovered the importance of crop rotation, soil health, and sustainable harvesting practices. The land, once taken for granted, became our most valuable ally. But it wasn't just about looking back. While we drew on the wisdom of the past, we also looked to the future. Innovation flourished in the rubble of the old world. People began to experiment with new ways of doing things, using the materials and resources available to them. It was a time of great creativity and ingenuity. Innovation flourished in the rubble of the old world. People began to experiment with new ways of doing things, using the materials and resources available to them. It was a time of great creativity and ingenuity. From makeshift water filtration systems to improvised solar panels, we found ways to harness the power of nature and technology to meet our needs. Ingenious solutions were born out of necessity as we forged new tools and created self-sustaining systems. We learned to build wind turbines from scrap metal, to create biofuel from organic waste, and to design irrigation systems that maximized water efficiency. These innovations were not just about survival, but about creating a new way of life that was more sustainable and resilient. Solar panels powered makeshift shelters, rainwater was harvested and purified, and urban gardens sprouted amidst the ruins. These small but significant changes transformed our environment and our way of life. We learned to live in harmony with our surroundings, to use resources wisely, and to create systems that supported our communities. Through relentless hardship, we found a new sense of community. The bonds we formed were stronger than any we had known before. We shared our food, our knowledge, and our resources, and in doing so, we created a sense of belonging and purpose that transcended the chaos around us. We banded together, sharing knowledge, skills, and resources. Community workshops and skill-sharing sessions became common as people taught each other the skills they had learned or rediscovered. From blacksmithing to herbal medicine, from carpentry to sewing, we passed on the knowledge that would help us survive and thrive in this new world. The bonds we forged became our greatest strength. In a world where everything else had been stripped away, our relationships with one another became the foundation of our survival. We celebrated our small victories together, and in those moments of joy, we found the strength to keep going. What if 2024 was humanity's last year? It would be a year of unimaginable challenges, but also of incredible resilience and ingenuity. It would be a year that tested our limits, but also revealed our true potential. In the face of the apocalypse, we would discover what it truly means to be human. It would be the year we proved that, even in the darkest times, our resilience and ingenuity could light the way. We would show that no matter how dire the circumstances, we have the capacity to adapt, to innovate, and to come together in ways that make us stronger than ever before. Don't forget to like and share this eye-opening journey into a post-apocalyptic world. By sharing these stories, we can inspire others to think about how they would respond to such challenges, and to appreciate the resilience and ingenuity that lies within each of us. #apocalypse survival #. Post-apocalyptic # self-sustaining communities # survival skills # innovation in hardship. Join the conversation and share your thoughts on how we can build a more resilient and sustainable future, even in the face of the most daunting challenges.